Hey nerds, we are going to do a review and breakdown of House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 1. Does it live up to the hype? Starting now. Welcome to the Nerd Social. I am Colin. The premiere of Season 2, House of the Dragon, just came out Sunday on Max, and the initial numbers were pretty good, but it's definitely not as good as the first season when I think 10 million views came out. But the second season came out to be about 7 million views. So we're going to do a review and spoiler breakdown of the first episode. So in the spoiler-free log line of episode 1, titled A Son for a Son, as Alicent grows concerned by Aegon's small council, Rhaenyra arrives at a fateful decision. So my impressions of this episode was that it was really good. It definitely lived up to the hype of the anticipation. There was a lot of promotion online, as well as a lot of shows I saw on Instagram of the actors interacting with each other, which was really good and humorous. So I think overall it was pretty solid episode. There was definitely some twists and turns along the way which we didn't see coming, but I give it about a 9, which is a movie marathon, because I think that it definitely does live up to the hype, but there's definitely some questions that remain in this episode and also in the future episodes of season 2. Those are my general impressions, but we are now going to get into spoiler territory. So if you like what I have to say about the House of the Dragon and more content like this, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out in the algorithm. So, spoilers ahead. We want to get right to it, and that in the first episode we saw something that we didn't see from season 1, which is the return of the Starks. So winter is definitely coming in Westeros, as Jacaerys Targaryen is now visiting Cregan Stark and trying to form an alliance with the Starks, so that we are now at war. Also, Max did a very good job of recapping the first season, which was full of surprises and twists and turns and all sorts of alliances being created and miscommunication. All of that was really leading up to the end of season 1, which was the death stare of Rhaenyra Targaryen, which really drew me to the character in a lot of ways. And we learned that in this episode how Rhaenyra is really grieving the loss of her son Lucerys Targaryen at the hand of Aemon Targaryen, and she is just at a loss for emotion and words. She's not in a very good place overall to lead, and so it led to a lot of back and forth, which I don't have screenshots for, between Rhaenys and Daemon. And there was a very fateful scene where Rhaenys was coming back from King's Landing, giving a warning to the High Towers to not mess around with the usurping of the throne, but Daemon was saying to her, you should have killed them when you had the chance, and we should really defend our territory. And so Rhaenys really just said, nope, you don't have any power over me because you are not king. And there's definitely some tension between Rhaenys and Daemon, because Daemon is trying to really sound the cries of war, while Rhaenys is much more strategic in her dealings with Team Green. We also get to see a lot of the small council, which is led by Aegon II Targaryen. We know from season 1 that he was a drunk, a loser, and he's been thrust into power due to the machinations of Alicent Hightower and Otto Hightower, the Hand. And this is very interesting scene in that Aegon II is really not a leader, and that he is being pulled in multiple sides, and he tries to make fun of the situation by bringing his son to the small council and also making mockery of Tywin Lannister, which was really interesting take there. And the whole scene was trying to make fun of the fact of how incompetent Aegon II is at this point of his rule. We also get to see that Alicent is really torn and trying to keep the peace and trying to reconcile with Team Black to apologize for the loss of their son. Luke but she also here says a prayer for her husband Viserys, but also Rhaenyra's son Luke, who was killed by her son Aemon. And again, there was a lot of tension from season 1 between the two offsprings of Rhaenyra and Alicent because of the fact that Alicent's children was saying that Rhaenyra's children were illegitimate, and also the fact that Aemon's eyes was lost in a tussle with Lucerys. And we also get to see that Aemon, with his goons here, trying to think of some name that would make him more powerful in the eyes of the public. And we also get to see Aemon couldn't really handle the public requests that were thrust upon him, really fumbling his way through making sure that there were enough supplies and enough goats for the common folk, and Otto Hightower basically telling him, wait a second, you cannot be so indiscriminate and unpredictable about certain resources of the kingdom. And so you can definitely tell that he is in over his head a lot. And here he's trying to let loose some steam, basically making fun of the fact that he needs to find some other name besides Aegon the Magnanimous, which has come up with one of his goons here. And we also get to see that Jacaerys has grown up here, looking towards the horizon with his mother Rhaenyra. And Rhaenyra finding out that Luke is definitely dead, finding a piece of his clothing, but also a piece of his dragon. And this is where they are starting to really bring some closure to the fact that Luke is dead. And that is something that really has haunted her between seasons 1 and 2 for Rhaenyra. And also, there's a very touching scene with Jacaerys and with Rhaenyra, which I will show you later on. Rhaenyra definitely did not say much and has left the orders to the rest of her crew. But here in this pivotal scene of the first episode, Rhaenyra basically did say something to her whole council and to Daemon directly. I want Aemon Targaryen, which was very powerful at the time when I saw it, and definitely sent chills down my spine when she did say it, because it really came at a point of anger, revenge, and just try to do the dirty work. Aemon and Aegon II, as well as the Hightowers, are in King's Landing. They are being protected by Vhagar. And then Daemon's trying to figure out a way in which he can infiltrate King's Landing through some darker means. And one of the things that Daemon was able to find out was that his mistress, Mysaria, was the one that was able to have a transactional relationship with the Hightowers. And he's trying to do the same thing here with her, Daemon is, so that he's able to infiltrate King's Landing in a way where orders of Rhaenyra can be followed. And we get to see here is Aegon II's son, which was featured in the small council. And this is a very touching moment where Helaena Targaryen, Aegon II's sister and wife, is being captured by these two brutes nicknamed Blood and Cheese, and they were able to infiltrate into the royal quarters of the Hightowers, and Helaena had to be forced to choose which one of the kids were going to die. And so it was pretty obvious from the scene that the son was going to die. And so this goes into what the title of the first episode was talking about here. And Helaena was able to leave the spot really traumatized by the fact that her son has been offed by these two brutes. And we get to find out that Alicent was having a little bit of a love section with Sir Criston Cole. And we saw that at the beginning of the episode where they were having really fun times in the bedroom. And basically Alicent was saying, we should never do this again. But it ended up happening again near the end of the episode. And Alicent coming to the realization that her grandson is now dead. And also the realization that her daughter saw her and Criston Cole in bed. Daemon in this episode is he's the consigliere of Rhaenyra, trying to make sure to execute Rhaenyra's wishes. And he was the one that masterminded the hire of Blood and Cheese so that they are able to kill Aegon II's son. And so Daemon probably does have a lot more to say. And again, we don't know about the tension that he has with Rhaenys. We don't know how that's going to transpire as we go along. We also see a small glimpse of Corlys Velaryon here, along with a new character. I don't think he is actually new, but he is featured a little bit more prominent here. His name is Aelin of Hull, and he was the one that rescued Corlys from harm during the first season. And so this may be the beginning of a very strategic alliance between the two, and also maybe Aelin becomes Corlys's right-hand man in future battles and future episodes. And finally, this is the scene where Jacaerys trying to do the duty of his queen, but breaking down, realizing the fact that his brother is dead, and also trying to hold it in all together. But Rhaenyra here, a very touching moment where Rhaenyra just becomes more of a mother instead of being a queen to her son. The whole episode, you can definitely see that there was a lot of humor, there was a lot of emotion, there's a lot of grief that's going on here, and I think that the writers and the showrunners did a very good job of putting this all together in a very coherent way that makes a lot of sense to the audience. So that is pretty much what happened in the first episode of House of the Dragon Season 2. There are going to be another 7 episodes throughout the summer, so we are going to be looking forward to having more coverage on this show. If you have anything to say about this review and breakdown of House of the Dragon, please comment down below, like, share, and subscribe for more content like this, and we will see you in the next video. All right, talk to you soon.